All right, what's good, people? Thank you for coming to the show. Appreciate it. Um, Glad to see you all. We have Art New Style TV, which is the best artist on YouTube. We have just DeAndre, Jay Shine, and Poetic Hills. Welcome, guys. I have the lovely, classic Ruby in the building. Welcome. Don Teasy, take it easy. Um, Thank you all for coming. And I'm sure I'll get into it, but for right now, I'm just in a funk mood. And y- I think what happens for me is because I care about people, it really bothers me. I think if I didn't care enough for people like I do, I actually would have been either a psychologist, um, something. I would have been something like that. Social worker, I'm not for certain, but something would I'll be helping people. And I just I don't know. I don't know. Thank you so much, Poetic Kales. One day when I grow up and get me a community tab, I'm gonna work that mother to death. I'm telling you now. It'll be a post every day of just hello, have a great day at work. Anything that's encouraging. So like I said, one day I'll grow up and have me a community tab just like you. Thank you, Sunny Box and Talk. Thank you so much for coming through. Appreciate you. Um, but again, as I was saying, that I care for people, and that's kind of, in fact, Jay Shine said it best. He said that's actually my weakness as well as my strength, and I'll take that. You know, I'll take that. Um, I just witnessed something that was sad, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my fellow man. What happened to my brothers? It's really sad. The mental illness that's going on. Um, because I'm a daddy's girl. I always was. Will always be actually. And I don't know. I always saw the injustice that men got. I witnessed that as a young child. I understood that. And it's still with me. When I actually came to YouTube, it was because I witnessed a young man that was having issues fighting for his children. As time went on, his message changed and he's gone a different direction. But that actually what brought me to YouTube. Otherwise, you would never know who Char Willie was and is. Um, I just saw the need to help, and that's what made me come out in social media because I was never one for social media. You know, always seen it used. A lot of times, the tool was used for the wrong thing, so I just didn't want to be a part of it. But like I said, that's what brought me out is because of injustice for my black brother. And just to go ahead and say it, you know, I witnessed something that was shameful to me. The state that the black man is in today, and wondering when he's going to come up out of it, if he even recognized that he has the strength. Um, and this is no slight to anyone, but when you have a woman to encourage you and let you know that you can do it, I've seen men move mountains, and I've seen that in my own life. So um, I just wish there were women that could see these guys that can actually help and support them, give them a little boost. But I understand that all of us, one time of or another, were hurt and injured in our hearts, and it can take a time to heal. And some people hold on and will never heal, unfortunately. That is possible. And it just makes me sad. But I'll say this, DJ Music, he's probably helping on his station because we're starting much later than we normally do on Saturdays. We would have started 2 hours ago. But DJ Music had asked me on the show because he was playing one of my was I think it was my actually my last video, and I had told the writer of the video, I mean, the letter that the person sent me. I told them, I said, it isn't cool to be snooping through people's phone and all of that, and the email and stuff. And that if you actually would take a look at my phone, you actually would think that I possibly would be still having relationships with one of my ex boyfriends, and that's because he continues to contact me. It depends on, I guess, what's going on with him. It can be as little as 4 times a year, and it can be as much as maybe 8 or 9 times a year. Usually birthdays, Christmas time, stuff like that. And then sometimes it just be out of the blue. And Music had asked me, he said, "Wow, it's been 4 or 5 years and this guy still contact you." And it's true. And I really believe it has to do with the way I treat men. All men in my life, I don't, because the first guy hurt me, I didn't put that on the second guy because the second guy may have hurt me. I didn't move that and give that hurt to the next guy. I actually made sure I was healed as much as I could because some things, you just never get over, or you always may be subconscious about it. But I never put that on the next man. And I, even to this day, if you're my friend, I don't care. I'm going to do my all to help you. If I see a need, it's just something in me that just wants to fulfill that need if I can. And I have been blessed. I have had some guys that have helped me um, during my YouTube career, if that's what you want to call it, when I started my Just Act Shar channel. And they actually contributed to me some things that I needed, and I really appreciate that. I always give my best. And I have a friend that told me that she has always been the best employee that anyone has had. And when she walks away, she don't have to worry about them ever saying, well, she slacked in this, she didn't do that, because she outshined everyone. She did it on purpose. That was just what she wanted to do, her best. And that's what you give to people. You give your best. You don't give half of it like, oh, okay, well, John hurt me and this guy might hurt me. So I'm not going to um, call him back. I'm going to make him wait and I'm not going to feed him or whatever it is that you're trying to control. Once you give your all, that person is going to miss you. They're going to like, what the world? I don't get this because a lot of people don't care. They don't care. And to sum it up, yes, DJ Music, I put it on that guy, and I put it on all of them. I give my best. When I love you, I'm going to love you. And when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. So it works on both ends. So, got that off my chest. But, hopefully it's going to get lighter in the conversation. I'm just sad at what I've seen on YouTube today with the black man. And I hope they get some healing. I don't know what it will take. I know I don't have not only the answers, but if it's something I can help, I will help. if I see the need and I can put my hands to task, I will do so.
Well, and I mean, I think there's an important thing here. Now, we can all sit here and pretend that we're not on Black YouTube over some kind of trauma, but then we're lying. So really, what it comes down to is you want to be honest about the trauma or not. And there's really three ways of going about dealing with trauma. You turn it inward and you self-destruct. From the outward way, you can either repeat the cycle of trauma and traumatize others the way you were traumatized, um, or you can choose to fight back, right? And I mean that how that's going to look depends, right? Depending on what your trauma was. So, like in my case of abandonment, right? I have been the ultimate loyal person, right? I have a very hard time walking away from people, not being there for people. Like I beat myself up for not being able to be there for people, even like almost in an unreasonable way. And it's just because I know what it's like to not have someone when you need them. And so I never want anyone in the world to ever feel the way I once felt. And so, that's, you could, like, that's me fighting back. I'm not going to self-destruct. Well, no, I did self-destruct for a long time, but I also kind of did that too. I'm definitely not going to turn around and, well, let me find someone else to use then the way I was used, or let me find someone else to get to trust me, and then right at the moment they need me, abandon them so I can get that power. Like, no. I think what you see a lot in some of these more on the polarized ends here, and you see it in the women too, is people who decided that with that trauma, what they were going to do is repeat the cycle, right? They felt weak, they felt powerless, they felt inferior, they felt, like lesser than. And so, what they want to do now that they are no longer in that position, is they want to make others feel that way. And you can see that that's what it is in this case, because for someone who I've only honestly, I mean, I haven't seen that much from them, but I've only really seen them kind of mostly be calm and logical. Right? So this is not what I expected. To see someone be that powerfully emotional, almost, you know, bordering irrational, just repeating the same two, three sentences. And this is a brother who knows statistics, who knows facts, who knows something. I thought I was really gonna get a deeper explanation than, the angry trolls in a chat room who explained this cis stuff to me. But no, I didn't get that, and I found that very, very surprising. But then it just makes you realize, like, listen, no one is here for no reason, right? There's a whole bunch of different sides, or I guess you say aspects to Black YouTube, right? And just because you're in one sector doesn't necessarily mean something. Maybe you saw a friend or family member go through it, or a loved one like you did. Maybe you went through it yourself. Maybe honestly, you could have been a perpetrator. And now, you see the error of your ways. You want to help people start seeing that error, or school them on the game, or whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of different reasons, but what's absolutely sure is no one is here for no reason. And it shows you, yeah, this is how far things devolve when you don't deal with those emotions. You don't really work through them and put them to rest, not bury them, not put them on a back burner, not try to wall them off with, cement or whatever, but really truly deal with them, and work through the pain, and face it and live in it for a little while, even though it's terrible. And that's where you see the hypocrisy, you see the anger, the hurt, the irrationality, all of these things. Like, this is not a gender. We like to say all those things are gender exclusive. They're for women only. They're not. It's not a gender exclusive thing to react poorly to trauma. So I'm not going to hate on reacting poorly to trauma. But I don't think that as individuals we get better, and I definitely don't think as a community we get better until we can start being honest about these things.
Thank you so much for that. And I am going to share a story. I'm trying to see because I got two that are depressing. I'm like, I'm about to end on a high note. I don't like to have just these terrible stories back to back. Uh, so I'm gonna share my screen on the first terrible story.
Great,
Isn't
let's
that a
do
way to
it.
say it?
Yep.
All right. Let's see. This is how you do it. Da, 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 da,
Right,
da.
gotta break up the mood somehow. This is how we do it. We need a third voice. So Central does it like nobody does.
Yeah, I don't know the lyrics, so hey, if I only knew. All
You know what?
right.
I used to love that song. I remember once there was a performance on, I can't remember what, like, talk show or something it was, and I still remember the dance they did, because I was like, they did this swinging motion in front of their arms, their legs and stuff. It was so cool, and I was so about that life. I watched that performance 100 times trying to replicate it, then add my own flavor in for when the camera cut away to the audience, because who cares what the audience is doing, right? But anyway, yeah, just reminded
Okay.
me of that.
Now
Hmm.
this is an old story, and I just want to point out only really one point in here. This is back December 2017, and this is actually in Russia. This man, he beat his wife, and he took pictures and everything, and he said this is his way of controlling her. And this is graphic, so this is how she looked after he
Mm.
beat her, and she ended up dying. First, she
Wow.
went into a coma, and then some days later, she died. So they sentenced him to 16 years. And I'll show you a picture of her, nice and fresh. That's what she was before he
Mm.
was beating on her.
Wow.
And this picture of them as a couple. And when I looked at the picture, I'm like, ooh, he looks kind of rough. If you look at them eyes, maybe I'm overlooking, but he looks a little tough, like he hates something.
Hmm.
I'm like, gee. But what I wanted to just kind of point out is the fact he got 16 years because he taken pictures and he filmed her. And she died, like I said. First, she was in a coma, and then she died. But his plea is just what I wanted to point out. His
Hmm.
plea was he's guilty, but he had his reasons. That is his plea. Guilty, but I have my reasons, or I had my reasons. I
Mm.
thought that was pretty interesting. I've never heard of anything like that before. Usually, the person is going to lie and say, I didn't do it, not guilty. Or they may, have a guilty plea, but he said, yeah, I did it, but I had my reasons. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's how they doing it now. All right. And
Hmm.
I've just found that to be a very interesting plea, and I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
You know what that reminds me of, actually, is for example, like Asian honor killings that happen on American soil. And after the fact, that's exactly what they say. They don't deny it. They did it for honor for their family. So if they now try to deny it to get out of it, where's the honor in that, right? So they'll admit it. They'd be like, "Yeah, I did it. Oh, she was acting dishonorable. I couldn't let my family name go down with her. I had to beat her. I had to stone her to death. What? That's how it's supposed to be. Y'all don't do that here, right? Like, it's like, no, no, we don't. But that goes to show you, when people are in these social circles, let's say, that are, I'm going to say, this dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional to think that if you had to beat the woman black and blue from head to toe, that you had her under control, or that kept her under control. Like that's a very dysfunctional mindset. So when you're part of these groups that are really dysfunctional like that, and extremists like that, what happens is a lot of the people in it are mostly just talk, right? They're really
Uh-huh.
talking like that to blow off steam. And then they go home and they act like normal people. And then you get the occasional one who's literally they're sadistic, or they got serious ego, self-esteem, whatever issues. And so all the stuff that y'all have been talking about, what you're doing is you're encouraging this one to go and actually do it because he's the one who actually follows through. He doesn't just run his mouth a lot. Um, and so I think to an extent he was probably proud of himself. And I mean, if you look at
Oh
what his
yeah.
reasons were, like
Hmm.
I'm gonna say that those reasons were not great. Now, I'm not saying that there's any great reason to beat your wife to death.
Right.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Hmm.
just saying if someone said they walked in on their wife and she was on top of another man inside of their marriage bed with the kids playing peacefully next door, and he ended up beating her to death, I would be like, okay, that is a reason you lost it. Like the offense, the disrespect, the how many times have you slept in that bed and that man's been all over it. Like I can see you lost it. You saw red. It's any reasonable person would have been really really angry. Yours might have been an overreaction, but okay, it's with a reason. I don't think that it was a reason like that. I think it was a reason like his friend or whatever came over, and
Mm.
he told when the doorbell rang, he told her to open the door. She opened the door and she looked the friend in the eye and smiled and said hello politely. And that was disrespectful to him. How dare you look another man in the eye? How dare you smile at another man? Like I think it was something more along the lines of that. Um, and he waited it out the whole day. He sat there talking to his friend, blah blah. They decided to go to the bar. He got himself drunk and came home and did this. That's what I think happened, or something similar.
It could have been. I wouldn't be surprised. Definitely
Hmm.
some jealousy there. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Wow.
And I mean, and for the record,
All
I
right.
know because you said this was Russia, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. For the record, I actually know a lot of Russian people, and you do have some mean ass people. But this is not like what you're supposed to do. Because some people will say, well, this is how they handle their women, or this is how they handle relationships, or whatever. And this is not actually what you're supposed to do. This is not actually like a normal thing. And even in households where, they believe in corporal punishment for the wife kind of thing, this is not normal. Um,
Mm-mm.
it's I'm not trying to cape for white culture or whatever. I'm just saying more to correct people who think that way. Well, in other cultures, no, in other cultures they don't beat their women black and blue either. They're like, and
No.
well, yeah, that's totally healthy because if it was, this guy wouldn't be going to jail at all.
Correct.
Just saying.
All right. Did you have something to share? You have a
I
topic or something?
I did. You know what? I will repost it for you. I did send it to you a little while ago. Um,
Uh-oh.
but yeah, here you go. So I've resent it to you, so you could also see it as well. Because I'm not sure if you actually got a chance to see it. But uh,
Okay.
yeah, remember this one? Yeah, this I can't believe this. Now, if you live in Chicago, well, actually, I don't know if it's Chicago. It's in Illinois
Yeah.
though.
Yes.
Um, Now, if you live in
Yes.
Illinois, this might be relevant to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you have heard of a doctor, this Dr. Van Coinis, Koinis. If you've heard of Dr. Coinis and he treated your children, just to let you know, this man committed suicide.
Wow.
And in his suicide note, he confessed that he did not vaccinate the children that were brought to him, regardless of what the parents said. So, you bring your kids in for their MMR at like 3 or whatever age it is. Yep, that didn't happen. Brought them in for a flu shot, did not happen. whatever you thought your kids were vaccinated for didn't
Mm.
happen. Um, and he had been doing this. Now they can't tell if he only did it sometimes, if he did it to select patients or not. Um, uh, Now he says that he had horrible regrets. What I'm thinking is he's one of those who was part of like
Uh-huh.
that camp that, and that's what they're theorizing too. He's one of those people that's part of the camp that believed that vaccinations were a causing autism, and
Mm-hmm.
b that vaccinations were not actually medically necessary. It was just a money grab, or that they didn't work or something. And then what happened is he got an outbreak of something, an outbreak of measles in his community, an outbreak of something he didn't actually vaccinate for, even though he was supposed to, and children died. And
Ooh.
right now, and again, they haven't come out with more details at this point, so they might be able to link this, but that's what I think happened. And at that point, that's why he has horrible regrets. That's why he wrote a note confessing to this, because
Okay.
at that point he recognized, like, wow, I endangered these patients that I really care about. I thought I was doing the right thing for them, but in actuality I put them in danger to the point where some of them died. And when doctors make decisions where children die, it's actually really hard on them. Whether you're a pediatrician or not. So you're used to seeing lots of kids, and obviously there's going to be some that, for whatever reason, maybe they have fatal cancer or something, they're going to die. But it's very, very difficult on doctors. So I think the fact that he made this very illegal decision, first of all, um, to not treat patients, and to go against parents' wishes, without their consent, obviously. I think that there was probably going to be an investigation that would come up soon, where he was obviously going to lose his license and probably face criminal charges. And again, that would be over some outbreak. So I don't know what it is at this point. We could probably, do some Googling and see where in Illinois a bunch of kids got sick with something that, we don't see as often. Like, again, when there's a measles outbreak, you don't really see a measles outbreak anymore, or a polio outbreak. You don't see polio here. Not that you don't see it in other places of the world, you just don't see it here. And I think that's how we'll know exactly what it is that happened.
Yeah. That's something. That is
Hmm.
something. I know I've seen some posts that used to say, and it was a great question that some of the parents, they're like, I don't want my child vaccinated. And if your child is vaccinated, why do you have a problem with mine coming to school and they're not vaccinated? And I'm like,
Hmm.
well, that is a great question. I mean, if your child's safe, you got the vaccination, why concern yourself with the next? But um, yeah, it's probably what happened. He couldn't take it. And then by him losing the license and shoot, he's probably still at student loan debt because a lot of these doctors have student loan debt forever,
Hmm.
forever. So
Right.
yeah, so
Mm.
that's something. Just the fact that people, children could have lost their lives. Student loan debt, care of his can't take care of his family because he loses license. The malpractice suits, the shame to the family is just a lot, and a lot of them don't survive the stress like we do. So,
Yeah.
wow.
And, I mean, you have to think about how terrifying this must be for parents, stuff like that, because, you
Hmm.
think that your children are protected. And just in a moment, this thing that you believed your kids are definitely not going to get this, and this. And some of them are medically unnecessary or actually very stupid to be given when they're given. So, for example, the mumps vaccine is very dumb that they give the MMR when they do, because that includes the mumps vaccine. But see, the thing is that most people don't catch mumps until like puberty and above. And by the time you get to puberty, the vaccine's already worn off, which is why you need another vaccine or the booster. But it's not really a booster, it's just a new vaccine. Um, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be giving the mumps shot to, 3-year-olds. It just doesn't. But there's other ones where no, it actually is protecting our kids. And when they say, well, hey, my kids, all of your kids are already immunized, so why should my kid have to be? Well, this is a diffusion of responsibility issue here. Um, but what ends up happening is, for example, um, the vaccines are only good for a certain period of time. So first of all, your kid could contract this thing and then infect a whole bunch of people who are just outside of that range, whose vaccines haven't kicked in yet, who are too young to get the vaccine. So when people make that statement, they act like somehow or another just because someone's kids are getting vaccines means that they're protected against everything from the day that they're born. Like, no, they're not. There's a whole bunch of things, a bunch of babies, toddlers, children who are middle childhood, teenagers who are entirely unprotected because of the time frame of when we can give these vaccines and when it's safe to give them and not. So you're actually really putting a lot of people in jeopardy, not to mention the fact that it's not that adults can't get any of these at all. Just because it's
Hmm.
more likely to get them in childhood does not mean adults cannot get them. Um, so you're actually endangering a community very quickly by because if someone from another country who actually has this thing comes here and your kid comes into contact, that's it. And not only does your kid get it, but a whole bunch of kids are about to get that. So I mean, it's such a selfish frame of mind. And I think I would feel slightly terrified, which is hilarious because I don't get vaccines and I didn't believe in them for myself. So as soon as I could start lying about it, I did. So I didn't get any of the ones in high school. So I was like, oh, this is bullshit. I don't need vaccines, right? But I was young and dumb. I didn't really do any research on it. So now I see it slightly differently, and I understand kind of the importance. I think that this doctor, who's been being investigated for months before he killed himself, realized the importance real quickly too. Unfortunately, don't realize the importance when it's too late. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Okay. We're moving from doctors to teachers. Dun 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 dun.
Mm,
Let
okay then.
me school. Let me see. Yeah, I'll try not to go on a tirade on this one. Alrighty. A month ago, this Ohio teacher gets 2 years. That's it. 2 years who looked and act like her husband. These are her words now, not the
What?
words of the writer, not the words of the judge. These are her words. This is the foolishness that she said. This 17-year-old student looked and act like her husband. Let me read this foolishness. There she is.
Yeah,
There
please.
she is. Ugh. A disgraced Ohio teacher has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for having sex with her, well, yeah, her 17-year-old student in 2017, People confirms. Online records indicate Laura Busey, 34 years old, twice this young man's age now, pleaded guilty in June to felony sexual battery and was sentenced Wednesday. Busey, who resigned from her position as a home economics teacher in Twinsburg, Ohio, following her arrest in September 2018, has been facing 5 years. Yeah, had been facing 5 years behind bars. With good behavior now, she could be released in custody after 6 months. But anyway, the Columbus Dispatch reports that Boosie publicly apologized to the victim's family, as well as her own family and her former colleagues during her sentencing hearing Wednesday. And these are her words. They all deserve better. And I'm sorry I allowed this to occur, Boosie said through tears, according to the paper.
Mhm.
You allowed this occurred to occur? See, these
Mhm.
things that you say let me know you don't want to take responsibility. It just magically occurred. I allowed it to occur. Allowed. Okay, lady. Okay. Anyway, she also says, "I do not believe this incident is a true reflection of who I am, and I will never let it happen again." There we go again. Let it happen. No, what about I won't do this? I should not have done this.
Mhm.
What about that? Use those adjectives. Describe that. That's what you did, lady. You did that. Describe what you
Mhm.
done. And
Yep.
then to go back to her only getting 2 years
You
and
know
this
why?
excuse, because it's just an excuse. He act like and look like my husband.
You know what it is though, Shar? Because of the age of consent laws. So she didn't actually violate the age of consent
Excuse me.
laws in Ohio, because in Ohio the age of consent is 16. So if she wasn't his teacher, she didn't technically break a law when it comes to statutory rape, because it's not statutory rape in Ohio. So the law that she violated was the one where people of authority can't have sex with their students.
I don't want to hear that.
I know. No, that's the unfortunate. I'm not
I
even listen.
know,
I'm
I
not.
know,
I'm not defending this one. I'm not. Listen,
I know.
I am a big perpetrator of saying, listen, when I was 15, the age of consent was 15, and I'm going to tell you, I knew everything I was doing. Um, so now, with that being said, though, I do think that there are always special cases, and I do think a position of authority, regardless, needs to be looked at differently. Someone is
That could be her
that's a teacher.
child. I
This
allowed
is
it to happen. So do you do that to your children? I would think your children would look like your son. I mean,
Have
your
you seen
husband.
that mess? She doesn't have no children. Look at her. Look at her. She doesn't have. Look, nobody gave that woman children, uh, at all. I do not believe she has any children. Just like I don't believe the lie. Well, he looked just like my husband, who left me, and I was lonely and but whatever bullshit, right? I mean, that's all bullshit, right? I mean, it
Yeah,
comes
we
down
know
to
that.
she lives in the right state, okay? And really the sad thing is, and in the case like this, you know that she's a predator, and the reason why you know she's a predator is because of the state she lives in. You
Hmm.
could be 30 something and date a 17-year-old, not a problem, because they
Hmm.
can consent to having sex with whoever they want. But she went out of her way to find someone who was literally that she had that authority over. She wanted the power. She wanted the control. She wanted that dynamic. So she actually wanted to be a predator, because otherwise she could have just gone trolling at someone else's school. Seriously, like it's legal there. She didn't need specialized access to 17-year-olds to be able to hook one, because otherwise she couldn't talk to one. No, because she lives somewhere where it is legal. So she wanted to be a predator. She wanted to feel exactly like a predator. It wasn't a happenstance. It wasn't. So to call it let it happen, she went out of her way to make it happen and to set it up that scenario in the way that it did, specifically because she wanted to feel that. You look back in her past, I'm sure
Hmm.
something similar happened to her, and she wanted to be a perpetrator. Remember I said three different ways of dealing with trauma? She wanted to continue the cycle. That's what she did on purpose. And you know
Yeah,
what? I think
I
she picked
just,
17 for a
oh,
reason too. I think she wanted 17, right? Because she wanted to make sure that she couldn't get dinged with the statutory rape thing. So she wanted to get as rapey as possible without having to go to jail for 25 years.
Mm,
I'm being serious. I really think that that's what happened. And I think that um, doing all of that, she set it up very, very, very intentionally. And because she set it up very intentionally, to me, that's not the right allocution for her. Like, where you have to admit your wrongdoing. Like, I would have made her admit what her intentions really were. And if you're not going to give your intentions, we're not letting
yeah.
you plead the sexual battery. Nope. You're going to get the whole nine. I'm going
Yeah.
to just tack
That's
on
what it
stuff
should
until I
be.
can't find something else. Exactly. Yep.
You're not gonna be responsible. Let me help you out.
Yep.
Doom doom. Yeah, I mean that's just crazy.
Hmm. And the fact that she has the opportunity to do it again, right? I mean, because if you think about
Yeah.
it, what she said was, yeah, so she didn't lose the ability to do so. Because, like I said, he's not a child, he's not a minor. So, because he's not a minor, she's not going to be on the sex offenders registry. So, as a result, she would be allowed to teach children, not just 17-year-olds, but anyone, because she's not a sex offender, technically. Sexual battery, it's a misdemeanor. So, yeah, I bet you she's not on the sex offenders registry. No, it's nothing like that. Bet.
I believe it too. I
Yeah.
believe that too.
Mm.
Sad.
The innocent white woman. I mean, when you look at that woman, I mean, everyone remembers the case of that woman who was like about the same age, I believe, and she was like dating a much even younger boy than 17, the what Asian guy, and she went to jail multiple times actually because she wouldn't leave him alone. And then once he became legally of age, she came out of prison and he married her, and they have children and everything. They stayed together. And then you look at the documentary, though. Watch the documentary and watch the way that they speak to each other and about each other. And
Oh,
the way she
mhm.
talks about it, it's like this has been the most normal, natural thing in the world. Remember, it's been like 20 years now. It's been a lot of years, right? This is the most normal, natural thing in the world. That's the way she talks. And the way he talks is like it's not. Still to this day, or maybe to this day, now that he has children, and they both kind of agree on this, that no, they wouldn't allow this to happen with their children. But I think that makes him feel a way
Wow.
about it now. Yeah, like it makes him look at her differently than he used to because he has kids and he has daughters. Like he has teenage daughters, right? And now he feels differently because he's like, wow, what would I think about the man or the woman who wanted to mess with my kid who was my age? Like, he probably wanted to murder them. Um, and now you can literally see the look in his eyes and on his face, and she still speaks to him like she's his teacher, right? So it's still dysfunctional, even though they've grown up. They're now decades older. You can see it all over him. Like this is the wrongest thing in the world, and I wish I could go back and not do this. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because the system tried to protect him, but because they were so busy protecting the white woman more, she didn't get a lot of time every time. Then she violates her probation, didn't get that much time. So
Right.
he wasn't really protected. He didn't really have a chance to move on with his life. How is it that oh yeah, we didn't talk to each other or whatever. Really? You didn't talk to each other, and what, the 13-year-old just stayed fixated on you for years while you were in prison? Really? Like that doesn't seem likely. So how protected was this boy? I think the white woman was much more protected than the Asian boy, and now you've got an Asian man who still almost looks like a boy, a traumatized boy with a bunch of children that he's raising with his pedophile. That's what it comes down to. That's He's raising children with his pedophile. Imagine how that must feel, and these are the things that when we look at this, and it's like it's one thing for someone, like I said, to be able to age of consent, right? I actually like the age of consent being lower, but only given a certain age limit. So, for example, I think it's ridiculous that you could be 17 with an 18-year-old boyfriend, and your 18-year-old boyfriend could go to jail for having sex with you. I think that's ridiculous, right? So I do think that they should be looking at that because y'all still all go to the same high school. You might have skipped one grade. You've been going to school together. You've been dating for a few years, but now that he turns 18, your mom never liked him. She can get him arrested. Now he's going to go on the sex offenders registry forever because you guys are 6 months apart in age. I think that's ridiculous,
Mm.
right? So I do think that they got to look at the age limits, and especially when it's contained within a school. Obviously there's no power structure there, and stuff like that. Like, I do think they should look at it from that perspective. But when it comes to being able to consent to, and you put in this perspective, sleeping with 34-year-olds at 16, does that seem normal? Like, do we think that that should be an okay
No.
thing? That, I mean, I tell you, when I was 16, I was dating grown ass men. And I'm telling you, even for me, 34 was way too old. Like, that's because there's no way that mentally you're young enough that we could be on par. There's no way. So the only thing that is a daddy child relationship. And there's that we can't keep saying that that's legal. Right? So there is an issue there that definitely needs to be worked out on some level. Should we be criminalizing every man who goes to a club and some girl's in there drinking, tells you she's certain age? Since this is above 19 club, you figure she's not lying. Meanwhile, she is, because you got the right fake ID and all the right moves and all the right talks, because she hangs with the older crowd, and now you're going to jail. I don't think that that's right either, right? So I mean, I think we got to look at these laws, I mean, and take some real serious consideration about how to do this in a fair and balanced way. So we're protecting our youth, especially our young boys who aren't really almost protected at all. I mean, 2 years,
Mm. Yeah.
right? But protecting our youth, but also protecting our barely adults, not 34-year-olds, but our barely adults, who are just dumb. Or, I mean, how, like, again, you went to a club, you're 21, she said she's 19, she's in the above 19 club. Why would you think that she's really only 14 or something? Like, uh, I
Hmm.
mean, everyone's been drinking. You have a reasonable assumption there. No, that doesn't count. Well, did you see your ID? I did. Well, it's a fake ID. You should have known that. How? How would you know
Right.
that? Right?
That's
Like, I
true.
mean, we got to be reasonable sometimes with some of these things. And what I fear is that when we make the laws harsher, they don't apply to women like this. So it applies to our people mostly, and to unfair situations. So in that case, well, do we want to make the law harsher, or do we need to just make it make more sense?
Make
That's what
more
I think.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
Okay.
Boy, Shar, you're really coming up with some doozies tonight. What's up here?
I don't know. It's a lot of stuff out there.
Mm, man.
What do you have for us? I am hungry. I didn't move. I put my pizza on. But continue.
I know, I'm starving too. You know what? I even forgot. I forgot to. Where's the second one? I know I had another one. I don't remember what the other one was, but I know I had it. It was it was great. Yep. No, I don't even know if it was great. I legitimately don't remember what it was, and I don't see it. So maybe I didn't even send it to you, which makes it worse. Because then at this point, neither of us are going to remember.
That's
Nope.
true.
I don't know. Right? Like, if I didn't send it to you, so I can't find it, you didn't see it, then who's remembering it today? I just gotta blame. Sorry, we gotta blame our brother Jay Shine, because if his debate wasn't so awesome, okay, I wouldn't be so distracted. Okay, there you go. That's what it is. I
Oh,
had to
okay.
watch him. I was focusing on him, and what they were about, what they were doing all day. I was waiting for this debate. You see, and I let my priority.
Okay. Volume drop. Let me see where you are.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Sorry.
there you go.
I
Okay.
was I was looking. I was looking for the article that I can't find.
All right.
Yeah. So I apologize. I did have something. I will bring it next week, because apparently I'm not finding it today. Yep, that's what happened.
Well, while you're finding that, I'll mention that yesterday I was so tired, I ended up just going to bed. I didn't take time to listen to the song I wanted to listen to, Tyrese's song, Lately.
Mhm.
I end up listening to it today, though. I played it about 3 times, 2 times with the headset, once while I was doing something. I don't know. I walked away from the computer, but I had it playing.
Mhm.
Love that song.
Hey, I listened to it too. I did listen to it start to finish. I was like, man, so underrated. He was so underrated. He did not get enough credit for that song. He didn't. He really did not get enough credit for that song. He should have gotten more. He deserved more.
It was great. And then the instruments. That's why I always like to listen to it with the headset because you can hear the instruments. They're so beautiful and clear. And
Mhm.
his back up singers, his background singers are excellent.
Mhm.
If you listen to them, they were on it.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. And I enjoy his part. I ain't gonna take that out because he was singing a song. My favorite part is uh what is that? I'll be your wishing well. Tell me what you want, baby. I
Mhm.
saw right now. Let me tell you. Number one is and then number two and number three. Oh yeah.
Right? I got a
That's
whole
my
list for you.
jam.
I've been writing it ever since I first saw you. So here you go, Tyrese. Hi, my name's Ruby. I'll be your baby moms. Yes, I'll have all 25 of your kids. Don't worry, you don't need extra baby moms. I'll do it all. I promise. I cook and clean too, I swear.
uh-uh. But yeah, I love that song. Those instruments. I'm like, wow. And you just can't
Mhm.
dismiss. And I think I started noticing that on it's been a while. I just started noticing that the backup singers sometimes they are really good and you may like do a double take like, what's that? Wait a minute, let me listen to a little closer. And then you're like, okay,
Mhm.
you hurry up and finish your part. Okay. Oh, that's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, you get some nice people that end up having solo careers from being backup singers. They're just really good.
Mhm. Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of great singers started up as backup singers for someone. Now, I mean, in the R&B game though, it was all about who you knew, who you were related to, and stuff as you were coming up or growing up, right? Like Aaliyah, whose aunt was, Gladys Knight. You know what I mean? Like it was always like that. So you had to know someone, or you started as a backup singer for someone, and then slowly you work your way to the front. So that's how it used to be. So a lot of these backup singers are really, really, really talented. It's just a lot of times the reason why we're not seeing them come to the front anymore is because stardom doesn't work the way it used to. You don't have to pay your dues. You don't have to work your way slowly towards anything. All you got to do is make a YouTube video, and if you get enough hits,
Yeah.
they'll give you a whole record contract. So,
Or you can just try to do your career without the industry. That
mhm,
people are doing that. It's a guy. Oh, I'm gonna have to write Jill Scott. I hope she answers. I'm a little behind on writing her because it's this particular song she did. It wasn't a full song. It was let me see, Crown Royal. I think that's the name of it, Crown Royal. And that's the one she says, my back doing something in my in my back, and I'm doing something, and slipping on oil or something she's saying. I don't know. And the guy that's grunting, I'm like, who that? Who that? Who
mhm.
that? I love the sound of his grunt. I mean, I know that sound weird, but I'm pretty sure he
A
can
little
sing
bit,
too.
yeah. I just
Well,
love the
thank
sound of
you.
his grunt. Like, wait, what?
I'm, but I'm pretty
People don't
sure
say
he can
that.
sing.
Yeah.
He
Oh.
go, I'm like, hey. No, but seriously, he has a very nice grunt, and I'm pretty sure he can sing. And I want to find his name. I went through that cover or the jacket of the sleeve, whatever word you guys want to use. I could not find it. Could not find it. And I'm like, I'm about to write this lady and ask her who is the man that's grunting. I need to listen to him actually sing.
Right.
Interesting. What I walk in over here on y'all. I'm crashing your panel, ladies. Hi,
Hey,
thanks for
Topaz.
support.
Welcome,
I- I'm
welcome,
glad that
welcome.
y'all were supporting my channel, so I'm coming over here. I'm crashing your panel. I'm just gonna pop up in here, see what's
Yes.
going on. And
Welcome.
I hear y'all talking about grunting and Ruby over here shifting blame and not taking responsibility for
Nope.
stuff.
Nope. Oh, Star. Listen, do you know how much I accept accountability and responsibility for here? Like, everyone acts like I'm the only one who talked about growers, and I'm the only one who did this, and I'm the only one who did that, right? It's all on Ruby.
Right,
So when I can, I'm
right,
shifting the blame over there. Here you go, Sasha.
right.
Yeah. Just,
Right. I
I'm
mean, no,
innocent.
no, no. I support it because I'm derelict as well. So I'm just saying, welcome to the dark side. We
Oh,
got
thank
cookies.
you. Aw. I
We got
love
cookies and
cookies.
a hug as in a pen. Yeah, there's a
Oh,
lapel pin too. So yeah, I'll
girl.
get that to you as soon as possible.
That's a
So
good
what are
one.
y'all over here doing? Talk about music. I missed out on all of these bad, horrible women that were doing these mean things because I have a son that I'm not playing with these women about. I also have a daughter that I wasn't playing about, and now she's not playing because she's grown. So I came over
Oh,
here to support.
nice.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I was
Oh,
just wasting, well, not say wasting, but I was filling in the time, giving Ruby some time to find what she couldn't
That
find.
article.
Yeah.
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 Nope.
See,
So,
Ruby, you be having like a whole lot of supportive stuff, a lot of good information, and I can't believe that I really feel like you didn't think that we deserved it.
I
You didn't look
know.
hard enough,
I'm telling
and
you, I'm
I'm sad about
slipping.
it. I'm
I'm
sad
just
about it. I'm gonna cry in the car, right? Just so you know.
I don't know where I put it because normally,
Zero.
no, you know what it is? Normally, what happens is, right? So, like, I have this news feed that comes up on my phone and stuff, right? So, a lot of times I'll see something interesting in the news feed and then I'll copy and paste the link and I'll send it to Shar. So, when I want to
Mm-hmm.
remember now, when it's 5 days later, oh, yeah, what did I want to talk about? I scroll through the chat to remind
Mm-hmm.
myself, right?
right.
Right.
I forgot. I clearly probably pressed copy, never pasted it. So,
I know. I'm just messing with you. You do a
yeah,
lot on here. I'm
yeah.
always seeing your name in something, so you're always somewhere. So I came up here to troll a little bit. I'm in a playful mood, so I came up here to mess with y'all.
See, that's what
Uh-oh.
we needed, Star. We needed a good mood up in here. Us with our gloomy selves and our gloomy articles. Like, and we're just like all
Oh,
disheartened.
it
Topaz is like,
wasn't
what's
gloomy
up?
because those articles make it wartime. It wasn't gloomy. It was like, no, we need to get out of here and protect our kids because I'm all about the kids. I love the kids.
That is true. I mean, I would like to, since I can't find my article, so I'm gonna pretend this is an article. Topaz.
Okay. Well, you know what? And our feelings are valid, so it doesn't have to be an article. It could just come out of the mouth of Ruby.
Well, no, it's going to come out of the mouth of Topaz, technically, but it's a question Ruby's
Oh,
going to pose. So you said there's a woman that you're not playing with your son. I would like to know
right.
more about the situation, if you don't mind sharing. If you don't want to share, it's okay. But
Okay. Well, no,
yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm blunt. I don't care. If you got the balls to ask, I got the balls to answer.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
well, what I meant by that is that my son now is going to be 13 in March, right? So he's going to get ready and start dating, and he wants to talk to his father more about it than me. Okay. Well, if he men have a tendency to support their sons dating older women, like, oh, it's nothing wrong with that. It's fun. It's a rite of passage. Yeah, yeah, all right. Well, if I catch her, the also is going to be a rite of passage for her,
Uh-oh.
called these hands.
Mm,
Oh.
mm,
So, and you know why? You know why? Because, I just don't really see older women doing anything with the teenage boy. Like those articles that y'all were talking about, I don't see any good coming out of that. We as a culture don't pay attention to the fact that that does pervert our sons and their view of sex and relationships and eventually marriage. They have all
mhm.
of these things that they're now expecting out of younger girls who have not lived enough to get to that point. And then now they spend their relationship telling the younger girls that they don't measure up to someone who lived longer and has more experience, more wisdom, more, and I just really feel like they give them false expectations is what I think. So I mean, like if she dates my son, she's gonna need to be able to
Mm.
face the consequences of that. And I would love to be able to extend that to all sons, but I would actually get pushback from other people's kids
True.
about their
How much
kids.
older is she
So
again? Like what was the age difference?
no, that has not happened with my son yet. I mean,
Oh.
God forbid, knock on wood. But that I'm saying if, because y'all brought up those articles, and it was this like the teacher lady. I'm here in Texas, so we had Mary Kay Letourneau, and she had her whole little trial and all of that played out, and I just was sitting there thinking, this guy, she could not stay away from him when she had a restraining order. Like
Mhm.
she went and did jail time, and after she got out of prison, they got married and had more
Mhm.
kids. That kid was not the same after he met her.
Nope.
Like that did something to him to where he couldn't even interact. Well, first of all, he wasn't really interacting with other kids anyway because he was being forced to keep a secret for her survival. She played a guilt trip on him. He can't tell somebody about things in his life now because it would get her in trouble.
Yep.
Don't put that on a kid. That's a whole lot. If I don't let parents bring all of their problems to their children, why would I support a woman bringing all her problems to a kid? You need to date somebody older, like your age, so that they can be available and capable of handling your emotional, baggage. Don't put that
Mhm.
on a kid and then make him responsible for your livelihood. You
Right.
made that choice. You were in control. You had the power differential. So that is a
Right.
problem for me. And then when you were discussing the young girl who gets into the club with a fake ID, well, the spirit of that law, it does target our boys, because the spirit of that law was to not corrupt young girls. But if she's getting a fake ID because she can't wait until she turns the age to go to a club, she wants to go earlier, she's already been corrupted by someone. So I don't think that it should target the man, especially, I mean, I'm talking about if they're only like 2 years apart or whatever.
Mhm.
If she's dating some guy that's 10 years older than her, no way he's had a conversation with that girl and thought that she was his age. And if he
Right.
did, then that means he's slow.
Oh yeah.
Like he's operating at her age level. So he may not have, been able to date women his age, so he might not have known what he was doing. But my question would be, why does she feel the need to get into a club? Why is she there and trying to date someone from a club? Because if he doesn't know her age, she knows her age. I'm not
Mhm.
putting the blame on her. I'm saying this is a thing that is not normal in child development. Something happened and interfered and acted upon her to make her go out and do those actions. So we need to get to the core of it so that we can stop girls from getting into clubs with fake IDs. I'm not going to put her in jail either. So, I just kind of
Hey,
dampened that whole mood. Let's get back to the music.
no,
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
tell you. I'm gonna tell you. Listen, I'm telling you because it's true that I knew exactly what I was doing. There's no people trying to convince me. No, oh well, I was traumatized sexually when I was younger. Nope, I was looking for an older man. That's what I was looking for. I was. Um,
See?
and I'll
And
tell
why
you,
though? There was something that told you that an older man would be a better choice than
yes.
kids your age.
Yes, for a variety of reasons. Number one, it had to do with like I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but just how dumb teenage boys are. And
Mm,
I had a lot of male friends, like legit male friends. We don't see each other that way. And
right.
so as a result, to me, that's what I saw teenage boys as was friends. That's part one. Part two is literally yes, because I was a little bit intellectually advanced. What I was interested in, the way I saw the world, was a little bit advanced from my peers. I mean, well, beyond them. So I enjoyed, sitting around having debates and discussions about stuff that honestly my peers were not even. They were nowhere near it. Like you could see their brains literally glaze over. And I also enjoyed doing things that they didn't enjoy doing. That's part
Right.
two. And part three, to be honest with you, because what I noticed about teenage boys, like just in the, base one, base two, is that they had no idea what they were doing. And I wanted someone who knew what they were doing. Now, that being
So
said,
for
I was
you,
still a virgin. And I still wanted
right.
someone who knew what they were doing. I wanted someone to teach me. I wanted a teacher.
But you were a
Um,
teenager operating as a young adult. So the
yes.
question is, were you like the oldest, or were you an only child? I know you talked about your childhood and what happened to make you want why were you so much more advanced? Because we
Um,
don't talk about what else comes along with our gifted children.
Yeah, well, and that's literally what it was. It was just the level of, like, I was reading adult novels when I was 4 years old, because I would go through the kid ones and then the young adult ones so quickly my parents couldn't keep up, and I couldn't keep a book out of my hands. I loved reading. You
Precocious.
know, I think in the third grade it was, I, for
Mhm.
fun, during school break, I was playing with, this textbook I found. It was my uncle's 11th grade calculus textbook. I just went and taught myself calculus. Like, it was just, my mind just moved faster. So, the things that, interested my peers and whatever, it's like, well, I've kind of already been there, done that. I did that a long time ago.
Mhm.
Um, so, and they don't make advanced novels that are, I guess, maybe,
Child friendly.
4-year-old friendly. So,
Because
maybe to
what
an
can you say to a 4-year-old that belongs in an advanced novel? You know.
right. And then the second thing is, and this is, my parents admit that they screwed up on this one. They recognize this. Um, like, the school decided, even when I was in junior kindergarten, they actually said I should go right to the second grade. When I was in the senior kindergarten, they said I should go right until the second grade. My parents
Right.
wouldn't allow me to skip. When I got into the second grade, they said that I should be in the fifth grade. And my
Right.
parents wouldn't allow me to skip because they didn't want me growing up with kids that were older than me, right?
Mhm.
For fear of exactly what
Yeah,
ended up
but you
happening.
woke up and found them on your own. The
Yes.
thing that your parents were supposed to do was introduce you to a playground.
Well, you know what they needed, and see what they should have recognized, for example, like, even like outside of my building, there was a bunch of kids who were, like, literally about 7, 8 years older than me, and those are the kids I played with. When I went to
Right.
church and there was, like, Sunday school groups, I would lie and say I was 13 or 14 when I was 7, so that way I could be with the older kids who would read the Bible, not just sit there and color and sing songs, right? So, I
Right.
mean, it's kind of like I went and out of my way to seek out what was at my level. The problem is, if my parents had just let me skip a few grades, I would have been with children who were, I guess, more intellectually on par with me. So our interests would have been more on par, and I would have been able to relate with them better. And so I would have
Mhm.
socialized within my class. But because I didn't have that, I went seeking anybody. It didn't matter what
Well,
what
this
age
is
we were.
Well, this is the thing, Ruby, is because as a precocious child as you were, first of all, if you had gotten to skip up, you would have gotten comfortable even more so with people who are that much older than you. So there's no guarantee that had they let you skip, that you would have ever come back down to people your age. The thing is, like, for kids that have that type of intellectual curiosity, they have to be introduced to settling. There is a thing as too much driven, because then you don't stop and smell the roses. So that's what you ended up doing. If they had let you go to the higher grades and you had gotten all of this interaction with kids older than you during the school hours, there's no guarantee that on your own you would have been willing to settle to play with kids your age after
Oh, no,
school.
no,
It
no! I
probably would
wouldn't
have made
have.
it less likely.
No, no. I would. What I would have done is played with kids in my class who were only a couple years older than me. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So then
Versus,
you went higher and you got even more older people.
yeah, I just went for whoever was available that was interested in what I was interested in. Because
Right.
honestly, up until that point, the only people I had to socialize with were like 40, right? Like or actually, I wouldn't even say 40 because my parents were teen parents, so maybe in their mid 20s, right? So
Right.
since I was used to socializing with people in their mid 20s, because I couldn't socialize with 5-year-olds,
Right.
because I would die
Right.
of boredom. Like, I would just look at them like, "Are you being serious?" Um,
And that's
and
the
that's
thing, because that's normal childhood development, though. So that's the thing that happened, is that's why they say, and don't take this offensively, because I don't mean it in that manner. I don't mean it offensively. That's why they tell you not to have just one kid, because then your kid is going to be around adults all of the time. They won't
Oh no, there
learn how
were
to be around
children.
people their age.
Oh, there were children, but that's the problem, is that they weren't uh like what they liked even then, right? Like, it's like the kids who were my age at 4 and 5 wanted to sing songs and learn about Jesus because someone told them a fun story from a storybook. I wanted to read the Bible because I could understand the Bible and that made more sense to me. So, now
Right.
the 4-year-olds aren't reading the Bible and studying it. Who's studying the Bible? The group of 13-year-olds. That was the group I would lie and say I was in so I could study the Bible. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Right? Yeah. So it's
Right.
like, and that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit of a manipulation, but when you're bored, then you reach. And that's where skipping grades actually makes sense, especially in grade school, because when you challenge a child, they stop trying to do anything at all to not be bored out of their minds. So
Right.
if they skip me a couple of grades here and then a grade here and whatever, and then yeah, I'm a kid in high school, which would have been crazy. I mean, we have all seen the show Smart Guy, right? But if
Right.
they had even done that, right? Like, let's say I ended up going quite that far, right? Where I was maybe 11 or 10 and I was in, the 10th grade. The point is I would have been focused on my studies actually, because studying in school would have been interesting to me. School wasn't
And that's the
interesting to
choice.
me.
That's the choice that each parent group has, is do you want to challenge your kids or do you want to not challenge them and let that fire die? And so your parents, they did, I think, what it would be a good balance, but you had the awareness to still seek out, because I ended up skipping one grade. They wanted to do another one, and then that was vetoed. And so
Mm,
I ended up living my childhood in a class with people who were 1 to 2 years older than me all the time, and I handled my own. And now it's like I look at my life and I'm usually surrounded by people who are in that range of 5 years older than me, and I'm usually the youngest, unless
mhm,
I purposely in some place where I'm the oldest. So what I'm saying is that this is one of the reasons why the parents that choose to challenge their kids, these are the ones you see with like the little headsets on their stomach while they're pregnant. They
I'm
provide
so gonna
certain
be that
specific
one.
type of
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
gonna be
seen
me.
that
I
one either.
know. Yeah,
I couldn't hear you,
and you
Charles.
play like Italian and French for them and classical
Yeah,
music, because you don't want
yeah,
to listen to that classical
exactly.
music shit. You play it for them though, right? Because it's
Right.
enriching for the brain.
So that's particularly what you are right now, is the result of that. But the thing is, we don't talk about the side of that that could be harmful to those kids, to the precocious ones, the ones with the thirst for knowledge. I actually have a live stream coming up with Dr. G where we're going to be talking about kids and what they need. So I hope y'all check that out on the 22nd. Shameless plug. I'm sorry, but thank y'all. So
Mm.
the point for this conversation is that, Ruby, you talk a lot about your childhood, and that's why I'm here for it, because we do need to know that when you do all of that, you need to be willing to see it through to the end and make sure that you're there to protect that child. Because
Mhm.
that is going to be a kid who, left to their own devices, is going to thirst for more knowledge. Thereby, anytime you do one thing too much like that, there's something else that's a lack. That's going to
Right.
be a lack, and that will be awareness of people your age and your peer group. What happens when you have to do something that is in fact divided by age? Because you can't skip your age in real life. You can just skip what you have access to in terms of your age. So there are going to be times where you are held back by your chronological age, because that's just how they set up certain things in society. What happens then? It's going to be uncomfortable and miserable for you, and you're going to be counting every second. You won't have, unless your parents took time to foster that, you won't have the emotional stability to handle that. It's like when you have a kid that's been skipped up. But okay, I don't know if I told y'all this story, but there's this thing about Brownie Scouts. You mentioned the scouts in Canada on a live stream before, but
I
so
did.
here
How
in
I wasn't
America.
in them, but I lied and said I was. Yeah.
Right. Well, see, I was in them, so they have it divided up by age and grades. So
Mhm.
there was third grade where I was young, and you have to be the grade and the age. So I was in the class with people who are allowed to go to the next, from brownies to Girl Scouts. So I had to have this whole huge announcement that I don't qualify to be a Girl Scout. And then that reminded everybody in my class that I'm 2 years younger than them. And so it just was a huge embarrassing moment for me as a
Mhm.
kid. And I didn't have the emotional stability to handle that. But
Mm.
because nobody was talking to me about mental health back then. This was
Mhm.
late 80s, right? In
Mhm.
elementary school.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying, is that was the thing that was they let me foster my development in terms of academics, and they were all proud of me and they got to brag or whatever, but they did not do the other half. And that's the thing that, that's actually the reason why they wouldn't let me skip the second grade. Apparently I was,
Right.
immature and had an attitude, but
Well, see, you know
you
what?
know,
And I was going to say that because, and I'm not going to put the brother's
don't laugh
business
at
out
me, Char.
there. No, no, I was going to call you immature. What I was going to say is, and I'm not
No,
going to put the
Char was
brother's,
laughing, but I get it, because I look back now and I'm laughing and I'm like, yeah, you can't do none of that.
No, you know what? It's funny because, and I don't think he's here. So I'm not gonna put his business out there because it's not my business. But I'm gonna tell you about the conversation we had. Now, his son is in was in a similar offered a similar thing to skip grades. He's a very intelligent boy, and he said he's not going to do it. And so I told him my story, and he said, yeah, but my kid's not emotionally and mentally mature like you are. Like, he doesn't have an undying thirst for knowledge. He's just really smart. And there's a difference,
Right.
right? Now, because you could be,
Right.
I mean, for all we know, IQ wise, this kid could be smarter than me. He tests
Yeah,
really
there
well,
are
and,
the
he, and
kids
he's
that are just naturally smart and they just have a high IQ, which is determined by your ability to figure things out when you don't know the answer, your ability to apply the knowledge that you learned previously.
exactly right. And between that and how well you hold
Yes,
on
I
to
do, Don
new
Teasy.
information.
I got all the Girl Scout cookies. Yes, I do. It's almost time. It's almost time. Hold on a second. I think they're out now, just in case.
You did say you had cookies when you first came in. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, I have lots of cookies. I always have cookies in real life too.
yeah, right. But
I have
and
a
the
sweet
thing
tooth.
is that when you're not, and you have to look at your individual kid. Is your kid just intellectually advanced, but emotionally and mentally doing actually well on their level? That is to say, they're
Right.
not acting out horribly in classes. They're making really good, friends and social connections. Otherwise, they're on they're on the right development curve socially and emotionally. It's just this
Yeah, because
one
now
piece,
it's
which is
all
the
three.
intellectual, that's extra. Whereas if your kid is advanced in several areas, emotionally, mentally, and intellectually, they might be
Right.
better able to handle. In fact, probably would suffer, because I did actually suffer from not skipping the grades. I should have skipped the grades. There's about 100 million ways I suffered from not skipping grades. I didn't even graduate from high school. I didn't decide to even do the school thing post secondary until I was 23 years old. I mean, I really did
So
suffer from
rebellion.
not
You went
skipping
to the
grades.
other extreme because you didn't
Yeah.
get your way. What I'm
No, it's not
hearing.
because I didn't get my way. It's because literally I lost. Like, you remember when you said the fire dies?
Oh, the fire died. Okay.
Yeah, because I was beyond high school almost before I started it. So to me, what was the point? And then on top of that, because I
Right.
had been so good at every single thing that came my way, I didn't even know how to try. I didn't know how to challenge myself. The second I came up to anything I
Right.
didn't automatically just understand how to do, I just didn't do it. Right. So, I mean,
Resiliency.
right. Whereas if I had if I had been allowed to skip those grades and I went into school the second grade, I would have learned how to push myself and study and apply myself. And I would have continued thirsting for
Okay.
knowledge when it came to
But
school.
Ruby, there's no guarantee. You don't know that you would have been like anything could have happened. There's no guarantee that you would have just figured that out. That's the
Well,
thing that like
they've
you
done
have to let
studies on
that
it,
part go.
though. They have done
Yeah,
studies
they
on it.
did
I will.
studies on it, but it's individual. You don't know that you specifically like the thing is I don't want you to live in that place where had you should have been allowed to skip because you don't know if anything like what if something else had killed your fire? What if you had been thirsting for knowledge, found knowledge in one area, got obsessed, and then the fire died in all the other areas? And like just basically we can't live in. I'm real sensitive to when people say shoulda, coulda, or like what if or I
Oh
would
no,
have and things
I
like
don't
that.
say things like that in like some
Okay.
type of emotional way. It's just logic to me. And
Okay.
again, studies are supporting what I'm saying. Like, as in, if I have a
Right.
child, right, and my child shows the same propensity, that they're really advanced in a lot of different areas, right, and they're given the same option, I would give them that option. But I would also do. There's a
Right.
bunch of things that my parents didn't necessarily do well, that and my mom especially likes to call me crying and apologizing. I'm like, oh my god, it happened like 30 years ago. I'm good, it's
Right.
fine.
Because
Right.
she's believing that now because she's going back saying, had I let her skip, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And we don't have that. And I will tell you, I did the opposite. So I was allowed to skip one grade. The second time was denied. And so when the option came up to for my daughter to be able to be skipped at the same grade level, because she
Mhm.
was in fact acting out as well. She had so much time on
Mm.
her hands. If when she was done with her assignment, she didn't know how to just sit there and wait. And I remember getting a headache being required to just wait for stuff. I was like, okay, well, I'm done. Can I go do? And it made me an individualistic child. And so
Mhm.
my daughter was doing that. And, she also had some scuffles because if she wanted something, she felt like she did what she was supposed to do quickly. And that was a reward if she got her way. So, if she didn't, there would be, physical. stuff. And so they actually, I'm proud of her school because they didn't try to give her behavior modification. They were like, she probably needs to be skipped up. So I posed the question to her, and I was proud of her because as a kid that didn't get help with my mental health, I was already doing that with her. I was letting her listen to the classic music, but I was also talking to her about her emotions and how to solve problems, with logic as well as emotion, like using the balance between both. So I was teaching her that because they don't teach that in schools here. So what happened is I posed the question to her, and she was able to say, well, I would love the extra assignments, but I don't want to lose my friends because I care about them. And so what they did was they let her split the day, and she did that throughout elementary school. And once she got to middle school, it didn't matter anymore because then you could take different levels of courses because the classes are individualized. You don't have a set group that you move with, because of the credits and how they divide it all up like that here. So my point for all of that is that I did not skip my child up because I noticed what I lacked when I did get skipped up and what the teachers, noticed once they already skipped me once and used to deny the second one. And so I didn't want to make that mistake. And so my daughter actually tells me that she's happy because she liked those friends. She had some great memories and she was at the top of her class and she was able to relax. What happened is when she had her free time, I taught her what to do with it. And so that's what I tell parents to do first. And now, when you try to think about skipping up a kid, now in the school setting, they've noticed that because of kids my age and what we did. So now you have to meet all three categories: intellectually, socially, and academically. You can't just have one. You can't just be academic. There won't be any Doogie Housers anymore because he was, weird. So they don't want to make those kids anymore. So now they do measure you socially. That is part of the test. And if you're not social, that's what then they pull you out and they work on that. And then if you master all three on that level at that moment and you still need to be skipped up in all three areas, then they will consider skipping you. So I think that a lot of things have changed in the school system and it's for the best.
Well, and I mean, we are talking about two completely different school systems too.
Right. I know.
I mean, we had grade
comparing
13 when I was in school. We had grade 13 still. You couldn't go to university without doing grade 13 or OACs. Yeah, so I mean,
what a ripoff! No, I finished. Y'all said 12. Now let me out of here.
I know. Well, actually, and interestingly enough, I got suspended through my exams halfway through my OAC year, and because we were the last grade to have grade 13, and after us, the people right underneath us, they changed the curriculum and they graduated grade 12. So we had the double cohort where we had two different classes graduating at the same time. But anyway, right. Because I got suspended basically through exam. Actually, I got expelled technically through exams. By the time my parents got it. No, actually, I didn't actually do anything wrong. I fought to get back into my original high school so I could graduate with my kind of original best group of friends, for lack of better words. But they didn't want me in the school. So it's like, oh, anytime you step out of line. And all I did wrong, I actually asked, instead of going to watch the stupid assembly, because who cares? It was the day before Christmas. I said I had a paper to finish. So could I just sit in the cafeteria like everyone else was doing? People could wander about. Everyone was doing it. But I was different. I had to follow all the rules. So I said, I want to sit inside the cafeteria. So they said, no, you can't take one step outside of the cafeteria. So I said, okay, fine. And I was doing this. But my friend Holly said, and I have to do the white girl voice because white girl. Oh my God, Ruby, you have to come. You swore you were going to come. You helped me practice. Please, you have to come. Oh my God, please. So I said,
that is the definition of peer pressure, Ruby. I can't believe you. So this dereliction of yours goes way back.
Bro, I didn't even get far. I got about 2 steps out of that cafeteria, and all I heard was this bitch. You, come on. That was it. Out. And I'm like, yo, that's a ridiculous ass reason. And it was. And the school board agreed with my parents because this is something I try to tell people all the time. You don't realize you can go and petition and fight. If the principal, you don't like that answer, you can go right above them. My parents knew that because one of them worked for the school board. Yeah. There is a chain of command and you can go, you can petition, you can fight, you can do stuff for your kid individually. You don't have to, well, the principal said so you're stuck and no one's picking it up on Facebook. No, there's other things you can do as an individual. That's what my parents would do all the time. But because of that,
that's a cute picture, Poetic Kills. I like your hair. Sorry, Ruby. Go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, but because of that, basically, I didn't have the option to finish the first half of the semester. So I'm like, where the hell am I going to go back? so I can finish half the semester and get half my OACs and not go to university, it defeats the purpose. But the way
Right.
I was planning, I had dropped a whole bunch of different credits that I just didn't like. Because again, remember, I didn't apply myself ever. So if I
Right.
didn't get my OACs, I didn't have enough credits to graduate. And because I was in the old curriculum, I didn't have the prerequisites to take any of the new curriculum courses. So basically, wasn't graduating high school now. Like, I mean,
Right.
it's just like, but again, I set myself up for all of that because I was bored. I'm telling you, I was so bored. I would sit there and figure out ways to screw with the system. And when I mean the system, I mean like the man, right?
See,
Rules
and
that
that's the
didn't make
problem
sense
with
to
smart
me.
kids. Why are
Yeah.
you trying to mess with a whole system? And your parents should have just, put you in your area, in your place with that.
Oh, they
That
did
would have
once I got
never
in
happened in the
trouble.
South.
I ain't gonna tell nobody what I'm doing. No, like like the time I thought it was unfair, right? That Muslim girls were allowed to cover their heads in school because of their religion, but if you were Christian and apostolic, there's two things in the Bible. It says women should have their heads covered when they pray to God, and that also it says that you should always have a prayer in your heart. So outside of school or work, apostolic women always had their heads covered. And I thought it was stupid that we couldn't do it in school just because we weren't Muslim. So I decided, I actually went to school with my full head wrap from church. I didn't sit there and, I'm wearing a baseball cap. I wrapped my head with and all my classes accepted it.
You
until
see
we got
this?
to the
You hear this,
library.
Shar?
Oh, I hear it. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
the library turned around and tried to tell me I can't come in. And I said, why? It's religious. Oh, you're Muslim? No, I'm Christian. I'm apostolic. Got sent to the office. Then they expelled me. Okay. And
Yes.
then they got
Do
the
you-
phone call
okay,
back.
so
Hold on,
as
hold
an
on, hold on,
adult
hold on,
looking
hold on. Wait, no. So they expelled me, right? Then they got the call back from my mom. And they said, well, we're just confirming with you, is Ruby part of a religion? My mom confirmed my whole story. Didn't even know what I was doing, right? So she didn't know. And so she
A
confirmed
fake
everything I was
Muslim,
saying. And they had to take it
everyone.
back quick because
Fake Muslim. Just want to put that out there.
Yep, you hear this?
no,
You hear
fake
this?
Muslim.
Using the Lord to throw the finger at adults in the system. Do you hear
Yes, I
Ain't
did. Yes,
nothing
I
holy.
did.
Nothing
Ain't-
holy. No
What? I'm not allowed.
this?
Allah.
I'm not allowed.
Exactly. The
I'm
Most
not
High
allowed
is
to be
not
Christian
pleased,
24/7.
Ruby.
What happened? What happened? What? Only if you're Muslim, your religion matters 24/7. I didn't think that was fair. Trust me, I was that kid.
Because Christianity has forgiveness, and in Muslim culture, you go to hell. So
You didn't go to my
it's a
church. There was
bigger
not a
thing.
lot of forgiveness. There was not a lot. Hey, listen, Fitness Mom will tell you because a lot of the rules that we were underneath that church, she's like, I was in a cult, and all of the rules almost are exactly the same. Okay, because she was in the apostolic religion. I'm telling you, there was not a lot of forgiveness in our religion.
Hey, okay, so Ruby and Fitness Mom, would y'all be willing to come on and talk about apostolic? Well, how do you say it?
Apostolic, yeah.
Okay, because I'm doing a series about lifestyle and faith choices, and so would y'all be willing to come on? So think about it, okay?
Yeah, I come on. I'm good. You know me, I like to run my mouth. So
yes, and
What?
that carries a lot of stuff.
shut up,
Yes,
Shar.
she does, and I listen, but I love it. I love all of it.
Ignorant. I knew you were gonna say some ignorant stuff. You see how I'm treated everywhere I go, and yet I keep coming. No, I'm kidding.
But okay, so this is the thing. Looking back as an adult, do you see how it could have been way easier had you just not answered the question about religion? If you're gonna buck the system, when we look back, I think about the times I called myself bucking the system as a kid, and I'm like, that was an easier way to do this. Had you just been like, does it matter? Why are we discussing religion?
Yes.
Don't persecute me
I
on
still
my
think
religion.
it matters. I still think it matters. Actually, it really irritates me. For example, so the Catholic schools, I mean, honestly, that's where all the gutter trash goes. Sorry, Canada. But when in high school, you want to find a gutter trash girl, go look at the Catholic schools. But anyway, that's the closest thing to private school you can get as far as, uniforms and blah, blah, blah. And so, but you can't go unless you're Catholic or Muslim. And I was like, I think that's bullshit. Like, why are we breaking all the rules for Muslim, but Christianity, now we don't count. Even if I was a devout Christian, even if I was under, really strict rules, which again, some of us are, no, you can't go to Catholic school unless you're Catholic. And I just thought that these rules that Canada is willing to bend for every other religion except for ones that were already here, I think that's ridiculous. Or ones that apply to Black people, I thought that was ridiculous. I thought that was unfair. And I did think it's something worth fighting. And to be honest, I can't say it's not something worth fighting still. I could say that it would be smarter to do it in a group versus waking up in the morning and deciding this is what I'm going to do today. and pick this fight today
And
because
that
I'm
is
having a
the
bad hair
wisdom that
day.
comes with age.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it came with age. I totally have that wisdom now. I would never do something like that at all. Nope.
Right. No, well, and that wasn't for you, Ruby. That was for any teenagers or young adults that might be listening and want to know why they should listen to older people. That's why.
Oh yeah, no, I can tell you all the stupid things that I did, and I could also tell you the ones I would continue to do. And see, that's the thing. Honesty comes with age, right? Because you stop caring
Yep.
slowly over time.
Yep.
Because
I pay these bills. You don't tell me what to do.
You don't feed
I had
me.
to listen to people in my high school years, but now have not looked back because it's a beautiful thing. I promise. I just can't.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And just like I
Ruby,
noticed,
you and I are turning this into our series instead of letting Shar chime,
I
on her
know.
own.
Let's
I'm
stop.
sorry, Shar.
We both run our
I run
mouths
my
way
mouth
too
too,
much.
just like
Yeah.
Ruby. Yeah, I talk a lot too. So if you let me, I will take over something on accident. And this was accidental. So I just want to say that.
Well, I love the fact that you know thyself.
You right?
See, that's what it is. Once you know who you are and what you do and everything, you can
Yes,
always improve. That's beautiful. Not a lot of
Right?
people
right.
are like that.
Nice.
First admit you
The
have a
nice,
problem.
nasty response. I love it.
Love it.
Oh, you're
Nice.
cracking me up, sure.
And then her voice is all calm while she's saying it. And it is really in a uplifting tone of voice that she had while she's telling me this.
Right? She's probably like, God, I haven't been able to get a word in edgewise in like 30
I know.
minutes. How are they
She
even
quit trying.
exchanging? Yep.
I saw her circle open up like she was getting ready to say something and she just quit trying. So that's why I was like, you know what? No. I'm sorry. Let me sit down somewhere. I'm gonna go on mute.
I apologize, Shar.
No problem at all.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
but I will ask, did you find your article or no?
No.
Okay.
I
Well,
I honestly gave up after Topaz
See,
got here. I was done.
still
Yeah.
not doing what she's supposed to be doing.
Nope. See?
Don't
I
blame that on
told
me.
you.
That was no. I just showed up. I just got here, Ruby. You couldn't find that article before I got here, so no. Just
And
like
then I
with the
gave
Becky
up.
story.
No, I
Yeah,
figured you were my last article.
exactly.
Did I not say the question was my
Yeah,
last article? I said it. I did.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Y'all thought
You
I was
did. You
playing.
did.
That was a problem.
Yeah.
No, I was serious. Yeah.
And she
My
tells us
bad.
a story about her history of giving up when
Yep.
she don't when
See?
something comes along and distracts her. It's
Effort
peer
is
pressure.
not my
Ruby
forte.
Ruby is open to peer pressure. Because you could have been like, no, I need to go on mute and find this article because I promised Shar 3 articles. You could have done that, but you didn't. And so now it's Topaz's fault
Yeah.
because I just got here, right?
Pretty much,
First
yeah.
first of all, Ruby, I wasn't even here. Like, let's just put that out there. That's number one. Okay.
Still can't accept
So we're gonna
accountability
deal with
over
that.
here. You hear her? God.
But I'm not even here right now. I don't even know what you who's accountability. I don't know what you mean. Because I'm sure Zero is down there trolling. I can't see the chat, but I'm sure that he would support me. He would back me up because he's so supportive and helpful.
We will see. No, he's like, Ruby's not sorry. Nah, not even a little bit.
I know, right?
Mm,
And you talk about me. No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
shame. Just shame.
I know, right? It's sad, Ruby. It really is sad. You need to do better. Like, why are you like this by yourself? Because
I
I'm
told
not.
you.
I
What
don't
did
do
I
that.
say? If my parents had just let me skip the grades that I was supposed to, everything
Oh
would
Lord,
be different.
the childhood trauma. Okay, nice.
Listen, I started off the stream by saying there's 3 different ways people tend to react to trauma.
Yep, you did.
I continue
Okay,
the cycle. It is what it is. We are who we are. Okay.
right. That's true.
Sorry, not sorry. As Zero said.
We are
sorry,
who
not
we
sorry.
are, and we are not who we are not. And Ruby is not sorry. Therefore, Ruby has no remorse.
I'm sorry for
Nothing.
2004, and I ain't gonna mess up no more.
16 years of
this year.
unapologeticness.
Pretty much. That's what I was gonna
And
say.
I'm gonna go get Cerulean and I'm gonna have him come over. I need a sound bite of him saying it because I feel like it resonates more out of his voice. So
Is it
I'm going.
dereliction?
I'm just so you know. I'm telling. I am telling. All right.
I know. Hey,
Okay.
listen, I own my faults too. I
Mhm,
try to try,
mhm.
y'all. I try my very hardest to try. You see? Right
Well,
there.
I'm finna be a brown noser right now, and I'm just curious what Shar has to say about all of this because I want to hear her
Stop that.
positive feedback and her amazing
God.
wisdom.
Feedback
Hmm.
from what you all just said.
Yeah, all of this whole dynamic that Ruby is responsible for because she's older. I mean, no, wait, no, I'm oldest, right?
You're older than me. I'm
Oh
the
yeah,
baby of this
okay,
conversation. Thank you.
yeah, no, see, because my empathy for younger people came in here, and I just want to hear the feedback.
Yeah.
Oh, the only feedback I have is that was pretty interesting. That's it.
Oh man. That's
Oh
brutal.
wow, wow.
That's it.
It's different. It's totally different. I'm just, hijacking the panel. So
No,
I'm gonna
you know
go
what
on
though?
mute.
I do have a question for Shara actually. You
Uh-huh.
know,
Okay.
because you're a little bit older than we are. So,
Uh-huh.
what do you think about this idea of skipping grades or not skipping grades? Like, do you think it's a good idea, bad idea? Sometimes it depends. Like, what's your experience with that?
Mm, I don't have any personal experience with it. Just as far as changing schools, it was
Hmm.
encouraged I go to a better school that had some more advanced studies, but wasn't able to afford it, so that was out the question.
Mm,
Now as far as skipping, I have, let's see, maybe two friends that have skipped. Um, One just loved reading, so that worked out for her pretty well. She skipped, I think, just one grade, and it worked out fairly well. She's a thinker, and she's a listener, so she'll listen to you
hmm
and she'll analyze what you're saying. Like,
mm,
okay, I hear you. And she's doing very well in her career.
mm,
Another person I know, she's doing very well in her career as well. And they both skipped a grade. I didn't see anything that was awkward. They were just a year younger. That's it. They did everything normal like everyone else. There was no rebellion, nothing against the system, not trying to be a fake Muslim on YouTube, nothing like that. So
Yep.
everything
I
worked out
know,
pretty
right?
well.
Because yeah, because it's sad that we live in 2020 where we got to say that.
Yeah.
mm.
So
You're not
everything
being a
seemed
fake Muslim on YouTube.
well, you wrapped your head up and all that stuff. So, hey.
No, no, actually, that
Yeah,
is actually. Hold on, I want to clarify this. So, the way that Muslims wrap their head is not the way that apostolic people wrap their head. So you can
Hmm.
come from a hat church, which honestly is more a Pentecostal thing in the Jamaican culture, or you can come from a wrap head church, which is more an apostolic thing. I didn't really know anything about Muslims when I was younger. I'm being real, but now the way we wrap it, it almost looks more like people how they wrap their head for like style and fashion purposes these days, where it almost looks like maybe like a fancy African wrap or something. It more
okay.
looked like that, yeah. So like it's pretty, like like I have a bunch of wraps. I still to this day, like, I don't feel comfortable walking into church even though I've been a backslider for like 20 odd years. I still don't feel comfortable
Mm.
walking into a church without wrapping my head, even though every I'm walking into a church where everyone's wearing a hat. I don't feel comfortable
Oh,
unless my head is wrapped personally. It's just something about my relationship with God that makes me feel more comfortable. Yeah, so it's not like, oh, I was wearing a hijab and all of that, not like stuff.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because that's
Yeah,
what I
no.
pictured. To be honest with you, I pictured
Right.
you in the whole hijab,
Uh,
the entire outfit. Like, well, what's wrong? I don't understand. Why
right.
are y'all like this? It's so oppressive. fight the man.
No.
So
Mhm.
No,
that's
I
what I
wasn't. I
thought.
That's what I mean. I wasn't making a mockery. I literally took the wrap that I would wear to church. You know what I mean? I took like a just a black one, so it wasn't anything too crazy, and wrapped my head the way I would when I went to church. Like, and honestly, these days, like I said, you see people kind of doing it as a fashion thing, right? That more African
Right.
head wrap thing. I didn't know it was an African thing or whatever either. It's just that's how you wrap your head if you're from a rap head church, and that was what I was called to do, basically, right? So that's what I did. Yeah, so
Okay.
I wasn't mocking the Muslims. I was just saying I
No,
should be
it's just
allowed
the
to
way
practice
you
my
told the
religion
story.
too. No, I know,
The
I
way you
know.
told the story, it was hilarious, and I'm like, see, you know what? You needed to be grounded.
No, I'm not that bad. I wouldn't see. That's the thing. I took the truth, right? And then I
Hmm.
just pretended that I cared more than I did about the truth. That's really what it came down to. And honestly, if I hadn't had a bad hair day that day, everything would have been different. But I did. And so I decided to pick this fight that particular day. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? Because I, for whatever reason, have had a life where I've met a lot of people of the Jewish faith, and so a lot of them cover their hair because if you are, let me see, yeah, if you're married, you have to cover your hair. It's a,
Okay.
Oh, wow.
she was explaining it to me. It's a whole thing. It's supposed to be just for your husband, and there's rules about dress and everything too. I can't remember all of them, but yeah. So it's like hair is seen as seductive.
Right. Okay. Oh, look, I found
Oh,
actually
wow.
literally the perfect picture. This literally looks exactly like how I wrap my hair. I'm gonna post it so everyone can click on it and see that I swear to God, it doesn't look nothing like Muslim people because I know some of y'all don't believe me yet. Hold on. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm not that much of a shit disturber, I swear to God. Oh no, no, wrong thing, wrong thing. I don't know what oh, I know what
Believable.
happened because I didn't copy it. I saved it. That's the link from the thing that we did. That
Oh, okay.
Okay.
the article. I know I was so not descriptive, but it's the article about the doctor. This is the wrap. Oh, it won't. It's too long. God damn it. I hate the. Why do we have to have a limit? Like I understand you don't want people talking for like an hour, in the chat room, but can't there be special exceptions like a link, for example?
See, there you go. There you go. You just cannot follow rules to save your life, can you?
No,
Any
I
rule, you
can't.
just gotta break it.
I,
How you gonna tell them people they had their reason? I'm sure there was painstaking research that went into how long a comment can be, and you just gonna come in here and tell these people that they don't know what they're talking about.
yes, that is my
Mm.
job being classic Ruby. Like I it wouldn't be right
Look,
any other
Zero.
way.
Look, see, Zero is tired of you. Okay, he is done. He
He
quit.
loves
He's
me.
not dealing with you right now.
I love you too. I posted the link inside of the chat so y'all could see. So that is
Okay.
basically how I had my head wrapped with a black wrap though. So I didn't want it to be too ostentatious or like throwing in anyone's face. I knew it was going to end up being an issue. I did. And to be clear, at the time, I was very heavily present in my religion. I was a missionary in the church. I went to church literally 4 days a week. My church was literally until 3 o'clock in the morning every single day
Ooh.
during the week. And then, well, not every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because it was Bible
Oh, so
study,
y'all would
praise
be
and
too tired
worship.
to sin.
Well, you know what? No, we like being there, legit. Like, and then of
Yeah.
course Sundays were, oh my God, Sunday was 10:30 in the morning till about 3 o'clock in the morning. Like we were there
Mm-mm.
literally all day and night. But then on top of that, like I would volunteer. Like I volunteered at old folks' homes. I would go and like stand on the corner and like talk to people about God and stuff. Like I literally was in it. So this when I said like it's kind of unfair that we can't cover our heads inside of school, it was actually a fair,
Yeah.
valid point because it was
No, it
something that
is.
I was practicing. You know what I mean? Like I didn't
Yeah.
just say, "Oh yeah, well I know that this technically exists in some religion. Let me go play with it today." Like that's why I said my
I
mom could
know. I'm
confirm
just
everything
messing
I
with you.
said. You know, um,
Yeah.
and that was what made me so infuriating is that I picked valid fights. I just didn't fight them validly. See,
Right.
so that's
And
really
that
what
was
it
the
was.
point. Looking back, there's a better way to win.
Right. Yeah, there is. If someone could teach me how, That would be great.
Nice. Well, yeah, because you still got the spirit of breaking rules, So we
Yeah,
gotta figure this out, Ruby. You
I
can't be
know.
taking all these L's. No more L's 2020.
No, I'm the type of person who will spite myself to spite someone else. That is to say, so and actually me and my mom were just talking about this today. And I told her, I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't think
see.
you really realized how often I would have done certain things or I was in the middle of doing them, but because of what you did, it stopped me. She'd be like, what do you mean? Be like, so for example, I would make a plan all week. And I was so excited about my little plan. I was going to wake up on Saturday morning, first thing, get the sleep out of my eyes kind of thing, wake up. And then after about an hour, whatever TV show I like to watch, I think it was Animaniacs and a bunch of stuff. Um, then I would start cleaning my room. I had a whole planned system for how I was going to break down cleaning my room. I was going to take everything
I
apart
already
and
know what the
scrub.
parents had to say about that.
Right. And then my mom would open my door, right? Like had just started cleaning. I'm so excited about my day. My mom would open my door. She didn't even look. And she'd go, you better clean this room today, and close the door. And I
Yeah,
would
then you don't
immediately
want to
sit
do it.
down. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it. That was it. I was done.
Yeah.
I don't care what the
Yeah.
consequence was. I'm not cleaning it now.
See,
Because now,
this what
because you
happens
know
when
why?
this
But
is
hold
the
on, hold
problem
on,
with
hold on,
having
hold
a
on.
Leo child.
Hold on. No, here's the
That's what this
problem.
is right now.
Here's the problem. No,
Yeah.
because if with what she did to me, I just found it really. First of all, I found it disrespectful because I felt like if she had just opened the door, and even looked at me for 2 seconds, she would have seen I was already cleaning it, right? But she could have spoken to me. But no, she
Right.
snapped some ignorant toned stuff at me, and now I don't want you to feel that you speaking to me that way is what accomplished this goal. Because if I say I was
Right.
already doing it, you're gonna be like, sure you were, right? And no one's gonna believe me, and then I'm gonna lose my shit. So it was better for me to just not do it. Now, see, so I'm spiting myself because I was miserable in my messy room, but I would rather spite you more.
Right.
And I don't care what the consequences, period. So now, if you fast forward 30 years, I'm exactly the same. I can't do it. There are some, if you tell me to do something, someone called me and told me to do something, you better this. Because my mom used to do that, right? She'd text me, you better this. I would immediately not do it now. Now I can't do it. And I would wait just long enough that if I did it, now she can't associate it with her call or her text. I'm being serious. I don't even live with the woman anymore.
No,
Yeah.
I know that you are because we've had this conversation before, and I'm just gonna say this is Leo activity for you right there.
I don't know. I yeah. And I wish it's something I don't like about myself, but I can't make myself go. I can't make
So you're
myself
gonna
do it.
spite
I
yourself
can't.
to spite yourself too.
I know, but I can't
Not
do it.
even you tell you what to do.
Right? No, no, I don't. Just like if I'm not in the mood to do something, I can't do it. I know, like I have so many limitations in life, and I'm doing it to
Yeah.
myself. But I sit there and I try to psychologically make it happen, and like my brain literally will start going dark, and like my vision will start going dark over allowing me to do this
Yeah,
thing
because
now.
your
Like
brain
it's
is like, I
ridiculous.
said, no one tells me what to do.
Yeah, that's exactly. No one tells me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. I'm proving
Not
that
even you.
though.
I'ma just shut off
Yeah,
today. I
yeah.
quit. So
Mm-mm.
then your brain is in the corner of your skull, just sitting with his arms folded, like, yeah, you gonna stop. You
Right.
gonna leave me
Like
alone today.
I'm 35 years old. You don't think that I should be able to tell myself at this point, who cares if they think that it has something to do with them? Obviously it has nothing to do with them because I already had this plan and I
Yeah,
know
see,
that
I
and
don't
who
care about all of
cares?
that.
Nope.
If I was already doing something, I'm gonna go. Like I have this thing with completion. If I'm already doing it, I'm tuning out. Like I wouldn't even either A, I wouldn't hear them come in and say you better do or whatever because it doesn't matter. And then B, I'm gonna do it anyway because I was already doing it and make sure that they know this had nothing to do with you.
So is that
So
like a
like,
Scorpio thing or because you're a Scorpio,
yes,
right?
yes, precisely, yes, absolutely.
Okay, I need to
But
develop some of that.
but the thing is, I also have a Leo moon,
Mm.
so that causes some conflict. Yeah.
I don't even have a
But
Scorpio anything in my whole chart, so that might explain why it is that I can't do nothing. Like I can't. I mean, it's physically impossible for me to be that
oh, because we're
determined about
driven,
anything.
and if we start something, it has to be finished. Even now, that's something that has caused me detriment too. Is because if I am on the path of something, I have to see it through to the end because I have to know the result. I can't have any unfinished thing. Like that would
Mm.
literally bug me. So let's say I'm in the middle of cleaning my room and an emergency happens. Like, oh, okay. You know what I hated in school was fire drills. It annoyed me because I'm like, it's not even a real fire. We're just practicing And nobody's gonna do any of this stuff if there's a real fire anyway. Because I can tell you right now, I am not gonna care. You just gonna have to ground me because I'm running and I'm steamrolling everybody. I will survive this fight, and whoever's coming with me is just like you'll come with the winners then. Because I'm not getting in your stupid line. I'm getting outside. That's the goal, is it not?
True. It's true.
So other people follow rules, and I'm one of those people that when I'm driving, I will not wait in the 2 mile long line to exit. I'm not gonna do. I'm just gonna go up here, and I'm that person. I wish I would. I'm not waiting for that. Like, I have a car. I'm not supposed to wait 30 minutes to exit. Get
Mm,
out of here,
mm,
and I
mm.
won't let anybody over in front of me because you should have waited. So I mean, yeah, it's a
Mm.
contradiction, but I'm not even sorry. I'm so not sorry. But I know my flaws, like Shar said earlier, and I feel like
Know thyself.
y'all follow rules
Mhm.
so that I can break them.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Now that is Scorpio activity. I will go ahead and give y'all that one.
well, I don't know about all of that. I just know there was a when if I think something doesn't make sense, I just have a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, that's logical.
and for me, with swimming, learning how to swim, I've taken about 3 classes, and I realized I'm just gonna have to take get someone personally to train me and learn how to swim because the class just not gonna do it because I'm in my
Yeah.
head too much. It makes no sense to me. You want me
The
to
exact reason why I
float.
can't swim.
You
So,
want me to
yeah.
relax. How the hell I'm gonna relax on some water? Make that make
Yes,
sense.
exactly. That is
So
exactly how I feel because like water drowns you. I'm not a fish, okay? I'm not at home in the water. There is no like water and relaxing. No. It's not
relax,
it
huh?
yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
so that's just to give you an idea of if it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I know it exists. People swim all the time. It's just in my
Yeah.
mind, in my head, that doesn't compute. So I'm not able to do it. So I need someone to help me get out of that, and I'll learn. But I gave an example, and I'll probably give it when we actually have the topic about employees. Um, what happened was I had, well, I ain't gonna say a supervisor. I don't want to go into that. There was this rule they came up with because people would not do the right thing at work. So they had this sign-in book. So when you go for a break for your 15 minutes, they want you to sign out and then they want you to sign back in. So I'm looking at there's like I think it might have been 16 of us. And I'm like, what sense does it make for 16 of us to get in line with a pen,
Yeah.
sign out with our names? You're going to write your name there and the time, leave out the door. And by the time you get up there, depends on, where you are in the line, 5 or 10 minutes is gone. I'm like,
Wait,
that
because I
makes
was gonna ask, is that counted towards your time? Because I mean, my 15 minutes wouldn't start until I signed the book.
no.
Oh, see,
Something like that makes no sense. So
yeah.
because it didn't make any sense, I refused to do it. Would I have gotten in trouble probably? Yeah, maybe, but I didn't care because that made no sense. And if I got tapped on the shoulder and say, "May I see you for a moment?" I would have explained why that didn't make any sense and why I didn't do it. So I was willing to own up to that.
But that's how things are changed. It's like when Ruben was talking about going to over your principal's head. That's how laws get changed. If somebody says, "Wait a minute, this is dumb. Why would I do that?" And then sometimes it takes an actual protest and civil disobedience. That's what it means. So technically, I'm messing with y'all, but you didn't really do anything wrong per se because life allows for that. Otherwise, we'd still be all doing the same thing just because of tradition. I believe traditions they need to be, accurate and helpful in real time, not just doing it just because it's always been that way.
Yeah, they started that, and that's because of the office politics. Instead of addressing the one person that's doing the wrong thing, the rest of
Yeah.
everyone has to suffer. So that's how I thought about it, and I Never signed that book. Never was that.
How did you not get caught then? How did you not get the little tap on your shoulder? Excuse me, Shar, can you I need you to come with me.
Um, I guess they just didn't look for it. Like, let me see if her name is on here. That's the only way I can come
Ah.
up with it. But when it was time to go to break, I walked right on out that door. When it was time to
See,
come
stuff
back,
like that I
I
would
came right
notice.
on
I
back.
would notice that this seems to be a rule that y'all don't actually care about because when I break it, nothing is said. Nobody even knows. I've had things that I broke the rules and nobody even knew that I broke the rules. So it's like, wow, I'm definitely not gonna do it now.
Yeah, so
Mm.
that's how it worked out. They end up ending it one particular day, and I'll go into that another day. Um,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, they did end up ending it, and I never was caught, and that was it. The end.
Right. Now it doesn't
Nice.
even make a difference because what are they going to say? You're like, well, it doesn't even matter anymore. First of all, you don't even know, and then two, now that it's over, what exactly is your point? See, this is meetings about meetings. This is wasting time. I'm gonna go ahead and get back to work because I care about this company and you don't.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
all
I
through
got a question,
politics.
Sharp. What
Hmm.
is your zodiac sign? Just for some fun, real quick, since I'm
Give
all
me your
morbid when I
zodiac
came up here.
sign. Give
I
me
was
your
told
I
it's
zodiac
know.
Cancer. That's
sign.
what I was told.
Oh,
Cancer.
no
Okay.
wonder. That makes sense. Yeah, so she's one of my water people.
Mm. Okay. My best friend is a Cancer. My like
Yeah,
lifelong best friend since I was 16 years old. Yeah, she's a Cancer. She was born
yeah,
July 15th.
yeah.
And it's so funny because we're exactly the same and yet completely different. And the things that get her in trouble with other people don't get me in trouble at all because I have the Leo personality to compensate for them. So like when I
And Cancer is
disappear
gonna be
for
all empathetic and caring about people, whereas you like, listen, it worked, so come on.
no, actually, I mean I'm way more empathetic than she is in some ways, but
Really?
um, yeah, because there's a lot of things in my actual chart that mitigate a lot of the
Ah,
Leo qualities, and a lot of times when you're talking about the way I function and that type of stuff, a lot of times I look a lot more like a Virgo than like a
well,
Leo.
because your rising sign matters. And so my rising sign is Libra, which is all about balance and friendships. And so since I do
Mine
do Scorpio
too.
things, yeah, and then also my chart is lousy with Libra stuff. Like it's in all the big, huge placements. All the fixed placements are Leo. All the big planets, the things that like people my age, it's all Libra. And then I have a Virgo Mars. So when I argue with people, I am arguing about something that I think is that I'm right. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like whether it is whether other people want to do it, whether it's tradition, whatever, I feel like I have a better answer. And so then that's the things that I stand up for. And then my Venus is Capricorn. So I like things, I love things that are appropriate and social graces.
Mm-hmm.
So none of that sounds Scorpio-ish, but the way I operate is very Scorpio-like.
Oh, see
So
that, and
your
that's
rising
interesting. What's your Mercury?
Scorpio. So I talk like
There
a
you go.
Scorpio. The
That's
way I
why.
communicate.
Yeah, because your
Yeah.
Mercury is the thing that dictates all of that, right? And that's why I look my
Right.
Mercury
Your
being Virgo
communication.
changes so much. Yeah. And then like my
Right.
my rising is Libra. So
Okay.
that whole like I just want everyone to get along, can we all be friends? I would rather just
Right.
not create a problem so we can all just get along and everything can be good.
And
That's all
that's
coming from
why
my
when
rising.
old girl was like, "But you promised to help me study," and then you were like, "Okay, I did promise. I
Yeah.
don't want her to think I don't care about promises." Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sound about right.
exactly. And I gotta take, I want to take care of my people, and like, hey, like the family's fighting. I'm like the first one, and everyone's like,
Oh,
all
I
right,
hate that.
listen, let me come talk to your corner now, because we got to fix this. Like, guys, Christmas is coming up. You're gonna ruin all of Christmas for everybody because of some stupid. Like,
Right.
I'm that one who did like all of that. I mean, I
Yeah,
haven't.
I'm the one that's yelling like, "I can't believe y'all are doing this. How could y'all do this over Thanksgiving? I can't." Yeah, that's me in the corner. Now look at this. So Shaw wrote this banner. What zodiac sign can help us get rich, right? Well,
Mm.
it depends on how we're getting rich, Miss Smarty. Well, the way that we get rich, what are we gonna be doing to make this money? That's the zodiac sign that's good at that should be the one doing it.
Mm,
Which
true.
is
Well, it depends what you want to do. What you trying to make money with, Shar?
I need a pension and I can't find
I
one.
love this pension thing.
Nice.
So I
I
need
need
a
to hit the
nice
lottery. So
lump sum or,
yes,
Mm,
disbursed
I
every
got
month
plans for this
for
money.
right.
something, right?
So help a sister out, if you know all that, you study well. How can I get some money?
Right.
What sign do I talk to? Let
Well,
me
as
know.
a Cancer, what you could get rich by interior design, things with the home, anything that makes people feel welcomed and want to be around you. So just so you know, like throwing dinner parties, stuff like that.
Hmm. All
But
right.
yeah, so and then with me as a Scorpio, like vengeance, I would be a mercenary.
Oh.
But I don't have that type of anger in my life. I don't deal with that. So that's just fun.
Oh,
I am
okay.
not a mercenary. I do not kill people. Just
Okay.
got to put that out there because people will take stuff and run with it.
Is there even
Okay.
a way that I could? What's Leo? What's Leo?
Well, because you guys are the sun, so everything revolves around y'all. So you would be, you see a lot of people in the entertainment field, actresses, musicians, anything where the spotlight is gonna be on you, and then you'll shine.
Okay. What would Virgo be? This is an interesting question. What would Virgo be?
Well, that's Dr. Phil of the Zodiac. And so listen, let me just tell y'all
See?
that I'm not an astrologer. I mean, yeah, so but I do listen. I do listen and I read a whole lot. So I like to know about everything. So this is gonna
Hmm.
be basic stuff. It's I can't read cards or anything like that. So in terms of a Virgo, it would be the Dr. Phil. You're gonna tell people how they can be better and what they need to do. And if they would just follow your advice, they would, you know, witness all of their wildest dreams come true.
See, that is literally
And
me
people
to a T. Like that is
and
that. Not
people are
only is that what
gonna
I'm
pay you
doing,
for
but
this.
that's how I treat people. I that's what I do. That's literally me. That's how I help people, right? See, that's
Right.
what I said. I'm like Virgo. I used to think that because I was supposed to be born September 19th, that it's like, I never really picked up the Leo thing properly. Like I used to think that, and then it's literally only since I learned about the whole astrological chart thing and specifically art teaching me about the Mercury and what your Mercury means, right? And I was like, oh, and my Mercury is in Virgo. And I'm like, oh, okay, that explains a lot. Because I'm like, my whole life, anytime I needed to read something about horoscopes, I always had to read Virgo to get something that looked like remotely accurate
Right.
about
So
me.
you possibly were thinking that it's about your gestational period and it's about the time. It's not about that per se. It's more about the day you meet the world. So
Right.
that second, whatever day you were supposed to have been born or whatever, doesn't matter. Because my daughter is a Libra. She was 10 October 20th. I got to pick her birthday. But her due date was November 1st. So she would have been a Scorpio. However, she exhibits so much Libra stuff because the day she met the world, all of the things that were happening, going on, she now witnessed, and everything that is put in place that she would be old enough or available to access was determined by that time frame, not when she was supposed to have been born.
Oh, okay, I see. That makes sense. No, I just like legit. It's just because it's like when
I
you try
used to
to
think that too.
explain the unexplainable to you, or so you
Right.
think, and then someone comes and gives you the most rational explanation in the world, and you're like, oh, I've been saying the wrong thing for 35 years. My bad.
Well, no, I the reason why I have that explanation available is because I used to think that too. And so nobody explained it to me. I just sat there until I figured out a different answer. So I don't know if that's true. That's just what makes sense for me. And so far I haven't found anything to debunk it yet.
Oh, I believe you. It sounds
See,
right
I'm
enough.
so conviction. I got so much conviction. What is this gavel? So what are you doing, Shar?
Ooh, we ready? Ooh, okay, okay. We haven't done this in a few weeks. All right, welcome
What?
back,
What?
welcome
What?
back.
I missed it.
All right. First, welcome Six Figure Days. Welcome to the string.
Hey,
And we
six rich sis. Okay,
and,
Hey.
sorry.
and we're actually going to end now because we're at a little bit over 2 hours. And I keep it 2 hours and under because of the replay. Nobody
Right.
wants to watch anything long. I get it. So, hey, I keep it like that. So, what I do at the end of on Saturday segment is I have a segment called the Judge and Jury segment. And this is a
Okay.
segment that we Again, so I put this up and you're like, oh, you know what time it is. And normally I have something that is outrageous. This one isn't too outrageous. I could not find the second part of it because I've been holding on to it since I think December, and shoot, the stuff, I don't know what I did with it. It's bookmarked somewhere, but I couldn't find it. But it's a segment that I have. I bring up an article. I, you know, judge it, the people or the thing, and I give it a sentence, and then we end the show. So that's where we are.
Nice. All right, cool.
Uh,
Let's do it.
all right. So what I got here is, let's see here. Let me pull it up. Bam. This is an older story. Doesn't matter. I ain't get a chance to judge the dude, so he gets it now. Everyone knows
And this is
about.
actually my New Year's resolution. I'm judging people all 2020.
Okay. There was, if anyone watched SNL, which Saturday Night Live, Eddie Murphy had appeared on the show, and he had a joke, and the joke gave a little, outrage to some people, and one of those people was the Bill Cosby publicist. His name is Andrew Wyatt. And he says some disparaging things about Mr. Murphy and pretty much called him a coon and all of that. But what's interesting is near the end, after he said all that he said, is that Eddie Murphy should actually be willing to sit down, use his platform to enhance the lives of other Black people. So I looked up his little thing. I don't even want to say that. It's not just me. I actually looked up his company, which I could not find. Like I said, I had it somewhere. I can't find it, but he has a public relation company, and I went to look and see who else that he challenged that should use their platform and sit down because he actually said that's what he wanted to do. Eddie Murphy should be willing to sit down and use his fame and help other Black people. So I went to see what he has been doing. And I went through his page and I didn't find anything in the last 7 years where he sat down and talked with anyone, asked to use their platform to help anybody. So, again, the picture I had, because I had a picture of him, but I don't have the other picture, can't find it. So I'm like, you're going to sit up there and have a problem with the man's joke. It really wasn't a mean joke. He just said, hey, I wouldn't have bet this in whatever years. Okay, big deal. You might be a little sensitive about it, but hey, he's a comedian. Everybody tells certain jokes that you may not like. But to sit up there and call a man a coon and Sambo and all them type of things, and he's on a plantation, he went too far. That's just some old mess to
Yeah.
say. So um, I'm giving him a sentence. Like I said, I looked up his track record. I don't see any of these things that he said that Eddie Murphy should be doing with his platform. So I'm charging him. He hasn't used his platform. So what you doing? You are a publicist. You got a big old mouth and microphone. What you doing? You're not doing
His
anything.
literal job is to bring things to the public. That is the definition of what he is supposed to be doing. So he has had 7 years of not doing it. So he might as well do 7 years time.
He ain't did nothing but calling folks step and fetch it and all that kind of mess. So I'm going to give him a sentence. I'm going to hand him a sentence. And his sentence is he has to wear a clown outfit for the next
Oh,
365 days, including the red nose.
yep.
And
Dry.
that is my judgment.
That's hilarious.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
He deserved it. And I think that
Mhm.
he should have to do it for 7 years because he's been doing 7 years of clown stuff already. So just do seven more where now you do what you're supposed to do, but now you got to wear the outfit that you should have been wearing for these 7 years of not being an actual Black publicist. And anyway, I mean, to be honest with you, I would not have guessed that. Like, that broke my heart and my spirit And my whole childhood fell apart because I was watching the Cosby Show, and a whole lot of the stuff that I did as an adult, I was like, yeah, Bill Cosby would be proud of me, right? Not, figuratively speaking. I went to college, I was expecting all of that same stuff, and it wasn't there. But the point is, I would not have guessed that Bill Cosby would have been drugging people and cheating on his wife either. So I don't see the problem in it. I mean, it is a true statement. We are heartbroken. We did not expect Bill Cosby to do this.
Yes. So my judgment has been handed down. That's the
Hmm.
end of the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and participating in the chat room on the panel. Wherever you are, replay. I appreciate it. We'll have a show. We're here every Friday and Saturday. On Fridays, we're here at 9:30 p.m. Central to midnight. And on Saturdays, we're here 7 p.m. And we go a little bit longer, depends on, the topic, what's going on. But normally we'll end it at around 8:30, just to, try to keep it short. So again, thank you everyone. You all be safe. And I'll see you next week, hopefully.
All right.
Thanks, Shar. It was fun. This was
Oh,
great.
I'm so glad you came up. Thanks for coming up. This is a
Thanks.
great one.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All
Peace,
right.
You're
everybody.
welcome.
Cheers, y'all.
Bye.